again, and welcome to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures podcast. I'm Michelle, and I'm here with my gorgeous, wonderful, loving, caring, sweetie, honey, warm.
It's not easy, is it?
No. Disney Halloween loving husband, Tom.
Oh, thank you, sweetie. Hello, everybody.
Now, like anybody, I like a good scare now and then, but the idea of me running the ship is just too spooky. So I will turn it back over to my sweetheart of a husband.
Well, thank you, sweetheart, and thank you for the kind compliments. And of course, you are wonderful, and I love you, and you love your Halloween as well. Just the not so scary version of Halloween is kind of more what along your
right, exactly.
Which is perfect because we like to talk Disney and they're all about not so scary. Thank you for joining us today. We are recording this episode on Sunday, September 26th. 2021. We are just a few days away from Walt Disney World's 50th birthday celebration.
Yeah.
Hard to believe we're near the end of September, and now after all this countdown we've been doing for so long that it's actually this week.
I know. This month is really spun by, and a lot of fun and exciting things happening, and I can't wait for the actual official celebration, although there's some fun things happening this week.
Yeah, it's all leading up to the actual date later this week, which will be all very exciting. Thank you for joining us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. And while you're there,
you could join in the fun with a newsletter that could come to you every week.
I've heard something about this newsletter.
Great.
Yeah, it's just another way to kind of be involved in the Hyperion Adventures podcast world. We put out our Disney Dishes blog recipe of the week. Sometimes it's a new recipe, sometimes it's a classic recipe, but we like to get that out there. All sorts of connections to our various episodes. We ask you for your input there. And, we have links to our Patreon page, our Spreadshirt page, our YouTube page, all sorts of stuff. And we just like having you, because you've put out the effort to be involved with us first to get a lot of this information first through the newsletter.
Right. And sometimes we share some things that we don't publicize otherwise.
That's very true. And so most times you will get that information first, whether it's publicized elsewhere or not. Another way to be involved with us is to follow us on social media. Please check us out on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you are on Facebook, come on over and join in the fun on our Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group. We're just a bunch of Disney-loving, positive people having a good time, having our own Hyperion adventure, and you can join in on that fun as well.
Most definitely, and please bring some friends along with you.
Yeah, come on in and invite them in. There's really, as of right now, there's no membership criteria to get in there. You just click on, say you want to join, and you're in. As long as you're a positive person, we're all good with you coming on in and having fun in the Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group. We are also on YouTube. Please check us out there. Just do a quick search for Hyperion Adventures Podcast. Hit subscribe and you'll know whenever we have a new video. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, please hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. And if there's any questions about any of our episodes of things that we've talked about, or if you have something that you'd like us to do a deep dive with, please don't forget to let us know, and we'll be glad to do that for you.
Yeah, any reason you want to contact us, even if it's just to say hi.
That's true.
We love hearing from you, whether it's there, social media, whatever the case. We love hearing from you. And if you want to support this show, kind of help us out with some of the costs that it takes to actually put on this show week in and week out, we have a couple ways you could do that. One, we have our Spreadshirt shop where we have a bunch of our logo gear on, t-shirts and various different hoodies and stuff, but also lots of stuff like water bottles, coffee cups, all sorts of different things. And it's our various different logos. It's, our regular standard Hyperion Adventures podcast logo, our I'm going to Hyperion Adventureland logo, all sorts of stuff. Please go check it out. Or you can also join in with our Hyperion Adventures podcast Patreon group, where we have groups, patron groups starting as low as $2 per month, and you get all sorts of swag with that. If you're in the Explorer level or above, you get the Disney Dishes blog recipe of the month, which we just sent a new one out for September just this week, and we'll have more of those coming out as we move forward.
That's right. And we thank those of you who have already become patrons.
Yes, thanks to everybody who is already a patron. We're really, really appreciate of you all. Now, another way to be supportive of this show is with reviews.
That's right.
And this is really, really exciting. We got another 5-star review this week. And if you do review this show, we will happily read it on the next podcast or whatever. This one actually came from a week ago. I didn't see it until this week, but we're happy to have it either way. And this review was titled Super Podcast with an exclamation point. Yes. It says, Tom and Michelle, what great hosts you are. So upbeat and positive. You share so much good information for both coasts for the Disneyland and Walt Disney World parks. I also love hearing and all about your adventures and information, very current and up to date. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work. And that was by Disneyland Dina or Dinna. Dinna.
Nice.
Maybe a Donna. Maybe they put the I in there. But either way, Disneyland Dina, Donna. Let us know who you are, because we would love to know and interact with you more. But thank you so much for the review.
Definitely. We really, really appreciate it. You know, doing this podcast brings us a lot of joy, and it just is more enriched when we know that, you know, we're touching your hearts as well. And I know that we got a tweet out this week of how somebody got a little emotional with our last podcast. So I'm glad to see that there's some wonderful people out there, Keenan, for example, for giving us that positive feedback. And this review was spectacular and really made us just so thrilled.
Yeah. Thanks so much for all the input we get on our shows. No matter how it comes to us, we really appreciate it very much. Speaking of input, we got some great input over the last couple of weeks because it's, again, time to close out another category for Hyperion Adventures Disney Hall of Fame, the third annual one coming up this January. We closed out this week the Best Disney Sidekick category, and so these will be the entries onto our nominees. Thank you. Onto our final ballot coming up here in late November, December for you to vote on. But before we get to those that made it, of course, we have to get to our lists first. And when we do a list, well, we always start with Michelle, one because she's wonderful, awesome, all things great. She has the best research. She has the best tips, but she also has the very best list. So let's hear Michelle's best Disney sidekicks list.
Okay. I'm supposed to do 5, right?
Sure. 5-ish.
Oh, okay.
5-ish.
All right. Well, this time I stuck to the rules, I guess.
Wow.
Unusual.
So
my first one is C-3PO.
Okay.
The next, and these aren't in any particular order, it's just as I was writing them out. Dante from Coco.
Yes. Love Dante.
Yeah. I couldn't believe this one hasn't made it in, is Jiminy Cricket.
Jiminy Cricket, I
Classic.
know. Yeah. By the way, only Olaf made it in last year. So
I know.
Yeah, lots of great choices out there.
Yeah. And just for people to understand, the categories will only be filled if we have enough votes for them.
That's it. They need to get a high percentage. This is a Hall of Fame.
Right.
And we want the elite of the elite in there.
Yeah. Chewie from Star Wars and Star Wars. And another classic one, last but not least, is Tinkerbell.
Oh, Tinkerbell. Yeah, Tinkerbell.
I know.
Very good choice.
I mean, it was hard to determine if she would qualify because she's also been the main character in her own series.
But in Peter Pan.
But in Peter Pan, yes.
Right. Very good choices.
Well,
I like those.
Thank you.
I like those a lot. Now, here are my choices in no particular order as well. I have Pascal from Tangled.
Oh, yeah?
Of course, #Real Men Love Frozen. So Sven definitely needs to make my list for sure.
I knew you were going to cover Frozen.
Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast. I love Lumiere. So good. I'm putting these together as one, even though they're two separate. Timon and Pumbaa from The Lion King. You got to kind of have them together.
Yeah,
so
kind of. They were on mine. And then I thought, all right, they'll have to be in an honorable mention category.
There we go. And finally, from Moana, Hey Hey, because I love Hey Hey. Hey's awesome.
Yeah, I could comment some things
I'm
about.
kind of on the same mental level as
yeah.
Hey often.
Well, I was just thinking in terms of, looking at characters with substance and those who are just too darn cute.
Yes. Very good.
But some of yours had substance. I'm not saying they didn't. All have substance.
Thank you.
I'm just teasing you.
I like the cute ones.
Yes.
Something shiny.
Yeah, squirrel.
So here are our final ballot nominees. These will be on the final ballot, which you'll be able to vote on near the end of the year. And of course, for one of you that takes part in that, we'll have some sort of prizes to give away. While we're trying to gather those up and get them together for you. I've got a couple things in mind already. So here we go. So our final ballot nominees for Best Disney Sidekick are Abu from Aladdin.
Nice.
Baymax from Big Hero 6.
Cool, yeah.
Gus Gus from Cinderella.
Oh, sure.
Hey from Moana. How did that happen?
I don't know. I think the host has a little bit of double vote power, maybe.
No, I didn't.
I know. I'm just playing.
I may know what needs an extra vote to get in. I will not deny that. But I do not just put characters in just because I decide they should be in. So, Iago from Aladdin.
Sure.
Jiminy Cricket from Pinocchio. Yes. Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast. Maximus from Tangled.
Nice.
The horse.
Yeah.
So good. Love Maximus. Mushu from Mulan.
Nice.
So good. Yeah. Pascal from Tangled. Sure. Yes, definitely. Pumbaa from The Lion King. Ray from The Princess and the Frog. I absolutely love Ray. I'm glad he made it in for sure. This was an interesting one and not one I was expecting. If you were going to go with a sidekick from The Little Mermaid, this would not have been my expectation, but Scuttle made it in.
Yeah.
I love Scuttle.
Yeah.
But I was a little surprised it wasn't Flounder or Sebastian or something, So Scuttle.
Scuttle's pretty hilarious.
Yeah. Timon from The Lion King also made it in. And yes, thanks to Michelle, Tinkerbell is also on our final ballot. So again, we will have those up for you later in the year for you to vote on. And we have a new category that just opened up this last week. And this is our parks category. I think it's the only one that we have that's actually officially about the Disney parks. And that is favorite classic Disney attraction. So any attraction that opened up before, I think we did the cutoff date at 1990 last time. So any attraction that was from before that. Last year, 2 made it in, Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion. So everything else is up for grabs. So go ahead and send us those and we will add those to our final ballot for coming up at the end of the year as well.
So that was a new category last year,
That was a new category from last year, yes. Okay. So all the ones we've gone through so far were brand new from last year. So they only had one chance to be in. We have one more category like that. And then we get to the classic ones that we had, the 4 that were our classic ones from even the first year. Cool. So before we get into this week's show, we have one more thing that we like to get to every week. And we're not sure if Michelle will remember because she sometimes doesn't. Actually, sometimes I don't remember until the last minute.
Sure.
But we do have something for this week. So we'd like to know what my favorite thing was from this week. And we always start with Michelle, as long as she remembered.
I did remember.
All right. So let's find out what Michelle what her favorite thing is from this week.
Yeah. And there was actually several things that I could select, but in order to keep the show within a reasonable time frame, I'll just do one. And it's work related. And that was each year, my clinic does, the flu vaccine, and obviously we're doing the COVID vaccines as well. And last year we did a drive-through, which the patients really loved, and we couldn't do it when flu shot season first started because we had tremendously long lines for COVID testing still. But it's kind of evened out now that we can handle more traffic on our property. And so we are going to have a flu drive-through pretty soon. And I'm very excited for that.
Yes. Should get your flu shot along with your COVID vaccination that you definitely should be getting.
You can get them both on the same day.
Can you? Because I remember when they first started doing it, they were saying you can get inoculation of another part for like 21 days or something like that.
Now things, they've reevaluated some things. They've had more data to review, and one in each arm.
Okay, there you go. So if you want to lose use of your arms for a day.
Right. Please don't discourage anybody from getting vaccinated.
No, I'm not. I was joking. Totally a joke. They're not as bad as some people say they are. Either one of them. Go ahead and definitely get your vaccination for COVID, but also get your flu shot, especially as we're getting out there more often and around people.
Right, and not wearing masks as much.
Right, the flu is out there too, and it can be nasty as well. So be sure and get that.
And here's a tip: move your arms around after your vaccination.
Yeah, for both, for either one.
Yeah, and that'll help reduce pain.
Disperse the stuff that they're putting in there quickly. Yeah. So very good. So thank you, Michelle. That's a good favorite thing from this week.
What about yours?
My favorite thing from this week, and we've only seen a little bit of this so far, but I'm looking forward to checking out more of it. But Star Wars Visions on Disney Plus. Really enjoyed. It's really interesting looks at the Star Wars universe, non-canon,
right?
But fascinating to watch the interesting way that different. I believe they're all Japanese, but the way they're putting in different kind of viewpoints into the Star Wars universe, different artwork into the Star Wars universe. I think they're fascinating to watch. They're interesting storylines, and the artwork is just phenomenal.
It really is. It really is interesting, and they're not all the same in each episode.
Right.
And so, it's great. And it's also cool that they did release all of them. So if you're somebody who's really into binge watching, you can do that.
And they're shorts. They're like, 15 minutes, something like that. Maybe not even that long. They're not really long segments, so you can knock them out. But we've only seen a couple of them so far.
Loved them. Ourselves.
Yes, loved them both. And we're looking forward to catching the rest of them as well. So those are on Disney Plus for you right now if you want to check those out too.
Yeah, and like you said, the artwork is just phenomenal. And it's just great having some unique art related to that universe.
Yeah, really, really cool stuff. So we also have my favorite thing from this week from one of our good friends and Hyperion adventurers. This is from Tony, the Disney dad. He said, I have a best thing for this week. It looks like my adult-only last-minute anniversary trip is happening. We'll be there October 1st to the 6th. This is in part to make up for our canceled trip last year for our 20th anniversary. Happy anniversary. Whenever, I don't even actually know when your guys' anniversary is, but if you're celebrating it coming up here in a week, we'll celebrate along with you. They did say, or Tony did say, we will miss you though, since we unfortunately had plans originally to be out there, and now we had to cancel those plans. So, but we're glad that we have some friends that are going to be out there and enjoying the festivities.
Right,
for sure.
Exactly, and that's great news. And thank you so much, Tony, for taking the time to share that very special moment with us. We really, really do love it. And for the rest of you, if you have something really special that you experienced in the week, we'd love to share that on our episode as well.
Yeah, you join in with our My Favorite Thing from this week. It could be just like Michelle did. It could be something personal, like I did. It could be something Disney. It could be whatever you want. Whatever your favorite thing is from this week, send them in and we will read them on the air.
Right. And we all like to celebrate with each other. So, yes, we're all going to celebrate Tony's anniversary and adult-only well-deserved trip to the Magic King, to Walt Disney World.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to Magic Kingdom. I think I saw that he had said he booked the, we were talking about the fireworks dessert parties. I think he said that he had booked for he and his wife the post fireworks dessert party.
Choice.
So
Smart choice.
Love that. I hope you enjoy that. And we have other friends that I think booked the California Grill, the one that's up at the California Grill. That's the, watch the fireworks out there, have some small plates before, and then some little petitfours and stuff afterwards. So I'm looking forward to hearing how all those go. So
and we're looking forward to someday doing those too soon.
Yeah, and we're talking about possibly before our Disney cruise in December, because our annual passes are blacked out, unfortunately, the dates that we will probably be out there for.
Right.
So we were like, how can we get our Disney experience in and not be actually going in the park? So, it's a good way to go out there and be able to check out the hotels and all the stuff they have going on, plus have this neat little party at the top of the Contemporary. Exactly. That's another thing that I should have mentioned. I almost added this in. I forgot about it up until this point. That could have been my favorite thing from this weekend. I don't think you've seen this yet. I don't know. But they've, some of the different websites that, cover Disney,
Right.
have been in the contemporary and seen the new lobby stuff that's out there. There's a lot more Mary Blair, some classic contemporary artwork within the hotel. They even have another place where they had the five-legged goat.
I was going to say, I loved how you posted the five-legged goat.
Yeah, thanks from Scott in Minnesota for
Yes.
that picture and the idea for that anyway. But go check that out. It's all over some social media right now because it looks stunning, and I'm glad that they're incorporating even more Mary Blair artwork in the contemporary because her stuff is so stunning and interesting.
Right. It's unique and it's beautiful, and she has such rich history with the company that it's something to definitely cherish and appreciate.
For sure. So let's move on to this week. We have lots of stuff for you, including if you're like us and thought it may be a while before you get your chance to see Walt Disney World's new nighttime spectacular. Well, we have some good news for you. And we learned about a very exciting day for fans of all the content on Disney's streaming service that's coming fairly soon. Of course, we'll go over that as well. But enough about all that. Let's get to our main topic of the week. I know we're a little over a month out, and some people may say it's a little early to be talking Halloween. Is it really? Well, you go to the grocery store and see how many bags of candy are out there. Or if you go to Disneyland like we did just this last Sunday and see all the decorations out, it's a good time to be talking Disney Halloween. Plus, this is a good time to get you set if you have plans over the next month plus to be heading out to the Walt Disney World Resort or the Disneyland Resort to enjoy some of this great Halloween stuff that's going on at the Disney parks.
Yeah, and I'm really liking. Maybe some people don't see the benefit of this, but I kind of like how Disney is actually pacing itself with some of these things, where they've already released and had things out there and available for people to experience for Halloween. But there's also some special treats that won't be available until either October 1st or some even later in the month of October. So it's kind of cool that if you have plans for different dates that you might have new things to experience.
Yeah, there's lots of cool stuff going on. And again, we're going to actually next week talk about our Disneyland trip and a lot of the Halloween stuff we saw there. And we have some interesting stories from that as well. But for this week, we wanted to really start breaking down the Halloween time fun and food at the Disney parks. And so we discussed, how are we going to do this? And well, it's still the Hyperion Adventures podcast. So that must mean we have to do some sort of 5 favorite list. So we're going to kind of count down our 5 favorite Halloween food and fun at the Disney parks. Now, I will say, as I was thinking about this, I don't think I've ever been to the Walt Disney World Resort during Halloween time. I'm just trying to remember if it ever happened. And again, I'm a relative newcomer to the Walt Disney World Resort. I mean, yes, I've been going for 15 plus years now since I met Michelle. We started going out there. It's almost 20 years now. I hate to date myself, but it's still relatively new in being that we're, it's not like we can just, buzz up there like we do to Disneyland. We just haven't gotten out there. Now we've been to Disneyland many, many times for the Halloween type season. So my stuff will probably be based on Disneyland, but I'm sure Michelle will even it out a little bit by giving her some stuff that might be at the Walt Disney World Resort as well.
Right. I mean, I'm touching on some things with Walt Disney World for sure, because there's some really great things. I think we'll have some ties of some of the things that we both love and cherish that are provided at the Disneyland Resort. The way I kind of in my mind see it is with a lot of things that happen at the Disney parks, since Disneyland's space is so much more compact compared to Walt Disney World. When there are things, it just seems more very much all around you all the time, and very immersive.
Right.
Whereas at Walt Disney World, they still have all those great touches, but with being more broader and widespread, you might not have that same essence. So I think as I was writing these out, since they were 5 favorites, I ended up feeling like, a lot more this, because of the feeling it evokes, comes through more so at Disneyland. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. And I've mentioned it many times. I think that, and again, I can't compare it honestly because I'm just more comparing like the holiday season. But I would imagine from everything I've seen from the Halloween season as well, that, you know, if you're going to go square inch by square inch and you mentioned it's more compact, so it's easier to see, but, square inch by square inch, the impact of the Halloween decorations and season and everything, Disneyland seems to do much more with it than the Walt Disney World Resort. Not that you don't have it there,
right?
But it just seems like Disneyland embraces it a little more.
I guess you could say that. To me, it's just more like, you know, if you were trying to decorate a house and you had a small house and put all your decorations up, and then you took those same decorations and put them to a larger house, they're going to be more spread out. You're not going to have the same maybe impact.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said like square inch by square inch, you know, so you're going to see it more. It's going to be closer together. You know, I mean, Walt Disney World is so giant and Disneyland is relatively small comparatively. So, you know, it's interesting, but you can judge for yourself. Let us know what you think and we'll be happy to share that on the show as well.
Definitely.
So let's start going through our 5 favorite lists here. Again, always start with Michelle. She has the best tips. She has the best research.
Sure.
And she definitely has the most interesting lists. So let's get to it. Michelle, what is your 5th favorite Halloween time food and or fun that's at the Disney parks?
Okay, so my number 5 is at Disneyland. It's called A Musical Celebration of Coco. And it's really like a street show where they have the music from Coco, you know, the characters, and obviously, you know, that definitely evokes the season for that. But the thing that really strikes me the most is their puppetry. Now, it's not all just a puppet show. It's really, they do have characters and dancers from, you know, themed with the movie of Coco. But they do have some puppets, and what's really amazing is how the puppeteers, they're not out there in the forefront of it, but they are there. They're almost like complementary to the actual puppets that they're dealing with, but just the life that they bring to this puppet. So that's one thing Disney, whether you're talking about Disney Cruise Line where they use puppetry or other types of parades and everything, they've really honed in on that skill set to make it just phenomenal and wonderful to watch. And that's what I see with this. Like when you actually see Miguel with the guitar and walking around, and he's, you know, the puppeteer is right there, but you're just honed in on Miguel because he does look phenomenal. You know, and all the other characters there. It's just, I don't know how to really continue to say the same thing, but it's beautiful. It brings to life that movie that we really love and cherish. Right.
And they bring that up regularly during Halloween time and more importantly near Dia de los Muertos. The Day of the Dead, of course, this time of year at Disneyland. But that show has also shown up at the Walt Disney World Resort at Epcot in front of the Mexico Pavilion. From time to time, you may be lucky enough to see that. They'll announce it when it's going to happen. And if you do get the chance, whether you get to go to the West Coast and see it or whether you get to see it over at Walt Disney World on the East Coast, definitely take advantage of it because it is a really wonderful show. And I agree with you. And the puppeteering is spectacular.
Right. And just the colors and the music. I mean, it's just stunning to watch.
For sure. Great choice. It's kind of a part of one of mine, but not completely one of mine.
Okay. So what's your number 5?
My number 5 is, mine tend to be a little more vague. She's very specific. Mine are more vague. My number 5 is just the pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns that you see lining up and down Main Street, USA.
Right.
Because they're incredibly interesting, different. There are so many of them. I mean, we were there a couple years ago and we went on the double-decker bus up Main Street and then we came back on it. And, you know, a lot of them are up high. So I was just sitting there and I was just counting them. And I believe I came up with over 200 jack-o'-lanterns up and down Main Street, USA. And they're all so, like I said, fascinating to look at because they're all so different. There are, as far as I could tell, there weren't any two that were alike.
Right.
But they group them together in creative ways. and they're just placed so well. And it's another thing that if you're just going down Main Street USA, of course you're going to see the big Mickey pumpkin, the jack-o'-lantern that's right there at the beginning of Main Street. And you may see some of the other stuff, some of the lamppost Halloween time things that they have up there. But you may not pay as close attention to all these jack-o'-lanterns. So definitely listen to Michelle and her tip of looking up, because that you'll see some really interesting stuff for every season, every time of year. But it's definitely during the Halloween time.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. And again, whether you're talking East Coast or West Coast, you can definitely see and appreciate, all the Halloween jack-o'-lanterns, et cetera, down Main Street. And what's, one, you talked about the creativity of how the actual pumpkin or jack-o'-lantern looks. It's also really cool how they fit the scenery. Even though it's different than regular time of year, they still are they blend in. Like, yeah, they fit. They're like, oh yeah, of course that's there. It's, they belong there. So the color schemes are very much synchronized with what is the surroundings.
Yeah, it keeps the small town feel that Walt wanted with Main Street USA, and that classic vintage small town Main Street in the heart of the country. It's definitely, it's there, and the jack-o'-lanterns just add to that.
Yeah, definitely.
Opinion. So
that was specific. That wasn't big. Good job.
Okay. That's my number 5. Let's get to Michelle's, the real one. Michelle's number 4 favorite Halloween time food and or fun at the Disney parks.
So it's funny because you talk about vague, and my number 4 is actually just very broad, and that is the seasonal food treats that you can get, And so, at Walt Disney World, not just in the parks, but even in the resorts. And we get that on the West Coast as well, but they have some really special things. So if you're not able to be in the parks, or you're just arriving a day and you're not planning to go, you can definitely get immersed into the season as well. And, one of the things I think is the most beautiful this year is and it's at the Grand Floridian. It's a Sally Hart shaped whoopie pie. And, it's a vanilla whoopie pie, a little non-traditional, but it's still good, right? But the detail of her patchwork dress on this whoopie pie is just so phenomenal that
yeah, I
it's
can't
just
do that.
fun to eat.
I'd like to do that for Disney Dishes blog. I can't do that work. So credit to the Disney pastry chefs for pulling that one off.
Yeah, and they also top that at the parks. Another really stunning treat at Disney's Hollywood Studios are the eclairs that they have this year that are really inspired by the Muppets Haunted Mansion.
Yes,
and yeah,
so excited for that.
Right, definitely come October 8th, I believe. But yeah, the Muppets stretching portraits are actually in detail on these eclairs. So, something that is, again, how much fun is that? Now at Disneyland Resort, they also, and again, we could go on and on about all kinds of food at both East Coast, West Coast. They do have the ghoulish pastries for sure. One of my tastiest is their pumpkin cheesecake from the Jolly Holiday. It's so cute because it has like a chocolate spider web on the top, and then they have the Oogie Boogie macaroon, which is just, again, stunning to look at. But the other thing that I see more at Disneyland is how they bring the scary heat or the haunted heat to their foods, like the pepper jack cheese stick. Now, this is a chunk of cheese that is dipped in corn dog batter. So right away you got it, but it brings the heat with that pepper jack cheese. And then they have a little bit of a drizzle of raspberry sauce on it to kind of complement that heat and everything. And so wonderful, wonderful food. Now, one would say is a lightweight when it comes to hot food, to spicy food. Although, when it, for like chicken wings.
You like spice, but you just like it to
a
certain level. Yeah.
I like, it's funny because like hot chicken wings, every once in a while, I just crave those, like really like fire engine kind of hot, but for the most part. But at Lamplight Lounge and we'll see if I decide to try this one. It's a little too scary for me, but I know some people would love it. It's called the Ghost Pepper Nachos, and it has their house-made green tortilla chips, ghost pepper cheese sauce, ghost pepper marinated steak, refried beans, tomatillo, avocado salsa, and cilantro. I mean, it sounds delicious. I'm not sure I can handle it.
Depends. Disney heat oftentimes is not what you would think of like as super spicy.
That's true.
Now, occasionally they do have some that can be super spicy, but they don't tend to go extreme with it now. But when you hear ghost pepper, though, you got to take a little step back and be a little concerned and be sure that you're ready to handle what a ghost pepper can bring. But again, Disney doesn't tend to go crazy with the spice, so it might be something that you could tolerate. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, at Lamplight, and we've talked about their lobster nachos. I mean, the portion there is definitely, well, I guess if that was your only meal, that was it's
good for two people.
But definitely in general, it's good for two people. So something like this, I wouldn't be able to, I don't think, sit down and eat that whole thing, but I could probably have some tastes of it. So.
There you go. Just got to be with a group that's willing to share it with you.
Right. But it is, like I said, the seasonal food, whether you're looking at something that is, sweet and treats, and obviously they have all kinds of candies and things like that, which are wonderful too. But, and then also the haunted heat food is cool too.
Good stuff. Yeah. So much good food to try. Too much good food to try, as a matter of fact. You can't get to it all.
And some of it is just so beautiful too. So.
Yeah, decorated really well, like you were talking about, for sure. So.
What about your number 4?
My number 4 goes back to what your original number 5 was, with the, of course, the Coco, the celebration of Coco. But I'm going to do it more broad than that. I'm just going to go ahead and go with the Plaza de Familia at Disney California Adventure Park over in the Paradise Gardens area, if you kind of know where that is. And it's just they just take over that area and they just do the whole thing to celebrate Dia de los Muertos. With so many different interesting ways. Yes, there is the celebration of Coco that you discussed over at the Paradise Garden Grill. They have a lot of Mexican type favorite dishes over there that are wonderful to sample as well. And then they have the memory chains where you can, put right down your memories of a loved one it's no longer with us or whatever, and that, which is always wonderful to see how many people have written little notes to those people out there, and it's really a cool thing. But the whole area is just it's kind of an area of the park that gets kind of forgotten at times, but I really love at this time of year and at the holiday time season as well, what they do with that space, and we just love Coco, so that whole area is just a lot of fun to visit around this time of year.
Right. I mean, definitely one of the things that the Disney company is known for is, like you said, whether you're talking family members or friends or loved ones or whatever, they definitely highlight that in this area. And, I don't know if I want to use the word spiritual, but there is something very emotional when you go there, especially when you're talking about the chain, whether you're participating in actually putting somebody's name down, and maybe, a little love note to that person, or reading what other people have placed there. It's just, it's what you go to the parks for, right? You want to feel emotion. You want to feel a connection. And it's just great how they incorporate that. And it is also very entertaining. It's not just, okay, this is kind of like a, just a memorial location. The mariachis that are there and the food that accompanies it, you definitely feel, the influences that you see in the Coco film as well. So it's just a great experience to have.
Yeah. I mean, the Mariachi Divas are regularly there, and they will, because they also take part in the celebration of Coco as well. And they will often decorate half their faces with kind of the, the skeleton kind of makeup for Dia de los Muertos. And they're great anyway. Anytime, highly recommend if the Mariachi Divas are playing for you to stop by and sit there for at least a couple couple songs, it's a nice place to
Right.
go check them out. But throw it in this time of year, and it's extra special.
Yeah, definitely. So,
So-
very good choice,
So
honey.
that's my number 4. Back to the real list here. Let's find out Michelle's number 3 favorite Halloween time food and or fun at the Disney parks.
Okay, so my next 3, the 3, 2, and 1, are things that we've talked about in the past. But my number 3 is the Halloween fun in Cars Land. I know we've talked so many times about the immersive nature of Cars Land that you feel like you're in the film for sure. And we've kind of touched on this also in the past, but it bears repeating in that, for example, the decorations that they use. I mean, they're using anything related to cars and creating whether it be an ornament or just some kind of a sign or anything that really evokes the Halloween season and in such a creative way. And I was looking at some pictures before the show here, and like there's this, it looks like kind of like they did a pretend graveyard, and they have all these cans that are decorated orange and looking like jack-o'-lanterns and everything, but just how they use spark plugs, and it's hard to really describe the detail of how they create such well-known Halloween images using car parts.
Yeah.
I it's really hard to really describe it. Something I would recommend people take a look at. But the Imagineers are just so creative with that, and then obviously the attractions in Cars Land are fun anyways, but at the Halloween time where they have Mater's Graveyard Jamboree and Luigi's Honkin' Halloween.
Hall. Haul.
Right.
Halloween. Yeah.
Right. It just adds something special on attractions that you may already like, but at this time of the year, whether it's just the music and the lighting that they use, especially at night, it just really brings the fun of the season to those attractions.
Yes. And this is my number 3 as well. So matchy.
Yeah.
It's a rare time when we
I
sync up
know.
on this. That was exactly my number 3 as well. Cars Land at Halloween. Yeah, the decorations are spectacular. Like you said, I think they said the Imagineers decided they were going to approach it as what if the cars themselves were decorating?
Right.
What would it look like? And it's just so fascinating, as you were mentioning, to see how they make these things that look like certain things using things that are automotive.
Yeah, like from a
some
car
way.
junkyard
Right.
that they had taken from.
Tools and cones and all
Yeah.
sorts of interesting stuff. So, going car parts, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really great stuff. And then you get the Cars characters in their Halloween
True.
outfits as well that you can take pictures
Right.
with. Really good stuff. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
like
I agree with
Mater
you.
is a vampire.
Right, and then Lightning McQueen is like a superhero.
Right.
He's got like a cape and stuff. So, really good stuff. So, I agree with you. Great stuff. So,
Well, thank
definitely, Cars Land, if you've never been, you should check it out for sure. Both the Halloween time season and the holiday season as well.
Right.
The way they decorate it even makes it that much better. So,
Yeah.
and yes, the overlays. That's one thing that I know that Disneyland has over Walt Disney World is that I don't believe Walt Disney World. I know they do like the Jingle Cruise and everything for
Right.
the holiday season, but I don't believe they have any Halloween overlays out there that I can think of, other than maybe during Living with the Land, they put out a few things
Right.
there.
Right.
But I don't think they have any particular overlays. So one thing Disneyland has a little over
Yeah,
Walt Disney
sure.
World. For good or bad.
Right.
So that's both of our number 3s. Again, back to Michelle for the real list and her number 2 favorite Halloween time food and fun at the Disney
Okay,
parks.
and I'm thinking we're going to be probably synchronized with a lot of things here, or the next couple
Could be.
could be. So my number 2 is the Oogie Boogie Bash.
We are. We're matchy matchy.
Matchy matchy. Obviously the treat trails, where you could actually go trick or treating are very generous locations for candy achieving. And it's fun, obviously, to be in your Halloween costume going there. But really the lighting that they use in such creative ways, whether it's, you're talking about the projection on the buildings, that have that Halloween theme and stuff, but they do have that area, they call it Villains Grove at the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail. And I don't know the words to use, spooky kind of, it's, you're walking through this trail and it has different theming as you're going along. Some of it, I think, somebody might have been on acid or something, but should I say that?
Sure.
It's just a little like, woo, but for the most part, it's just, you really feel, with it's dark and you just have these projections or these, even on the ground, some of the lighting of like sparkly things on the ground or whatever. It just is like eerie and fun.
Yeah, they use fog and lighting and, candlelight, I don't think it's real candles, electric candles or whatever, and then some projections on the ground and on the rock facings and stuff that really does make it kind of eerie, kind of spooky, and just kind of a cool place to walk through and, and have that not so scary type of fun. It's a little scary, but it's not so scary, I
mean, the other thing that Oogie Boogie Bash is known for that we love is, the abundance of villains that, do interact, whether it's interacting with guests or other characters that are coming around. It's pretty fun to watch that, like especially like Maleficent and things. I mean, they're just great. Super photo op plays. It's like crazy good, amazing scenes. And that they also bring up some more of the nostalgic characters that you don't typically see, like Frollo. Ooh, creepy.
From Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah. So that's great. And you do with the event to get unlimited photo pass downloads and things like that. So that's great that they have that. And it's just really a fun night. It's fun whether if you're a kid, obviously there's so many fun things that you can enjoy as an adult. They also have experiences there that you can connect with you. So I love it. They have special foods that's only available during the Oogie Boogie Bash. So fun.
It is fun. We had a great time going there with our friends Rob and Kim a couple years back. It's back for this year, and it looks fantastic again. I loved because a lot of these treat trails, there's like a villain on every treat trail, and they're very interactive. The Evil Queen, Maleficent, the Shadow Man, Dr. Facilier, Oogie Boogie himself. So cool. And then the cooler thing is that this year, and it's made me jealous because we haven't been able to go this year. I really would have liked to have been able to go, but I don't think we're going to be able to work it out. But they have even more new interesting villains this year, including they have the Cruella de Vil version from the Cruella film, Sid from Toy Story, and the one that I'm really jealous about is Agatha Harkness from WandaVision, who I've seen videos, many people have posted pictures and videos of her, and she looks like she's having a great time and is hilarious. I would just love to be there to check all that out, but just a fantastic time. It's a great Halloween time party for all sorts of ages. I remember when we went, I don't think they're having that this year, but when we went, they had the Descend dance party, which was, great for tweens and younger, they've or maybe even adults that really like the Descendants franchise and stuff. And we stopped by that, and that sounded like a lot of fun as well.
Right. This year they have a different dance party there, and it has more of the traditional Disney characters, like Goofy looking very mummified.
You still do have the traditional characters in there because they all have their own Halloween costumes that they wear a lot as well. So really cool stuff. So I agree with you. That's my number 2 as well. Right. But let's really get to it. And I bet you we're matchy on this one too. Let's get to the number 1 favorite Halloween time food and or fun at the Disney parks.
Well, of course, I guess I would be shocked if we're not tied, but it's the Nightmare Before Christmas Haunted Mansion.
Haunted Mansion Holiday, yes.
Right. So
matchy
again, same. So actually, this is the 20th anniversary of when they started that holiday layover, so that's pretty cool. They have obviously Pumpkin King Jack Skeleton and company throughout the Haunted Mansion with really creative scenes. And each year, their way of keeping it fresh is they change out and have really ornate gingerbread house in the Grand Hall scene. And what's interesting about this year's display, which is called Gingerbread Frankenhouse, is that it has some representation from each of the prior years' previous display houses. So it's really, really cool and creative. And what's really nice about this one is it fits both holidays, right? Because it's when, what do they say in the film? Halloween and Christmas collide.
Mm-hmm.
And so this brings the fun of both of those throughout both seasons.
Yeah, we love it. Absolutely adore it. We love the Haunted Mansion just in general.
Right.
Arguably my favorite attraction, definitely my favorite classic attraction for sure. But then you throw in one, this influence and all these touches from one of our favorite movies.
Right.
It's really... It's just joyful.
Right.
It's just a joyful version of the Haunted Mansion. It's, it's interesting to, that we get this for 3 or 4 months every year.
Yeah.
And it's just such fun to look at. And they add new pieces to it every single year. Like you said, they do the gingerbread house there in the dining room scene. And you get that waft of gingerbread when you turn the corner into there. And then you get to check it out. And it's always so cool. And I adore it. I get excited for it every single year. It's a must do. If you've never done it, it's a reason to get to Disneyland alone is to go. If you're a fan of the Haunted Mansion, if you're a fan of the Nightmare Before Christmas, it is a must do. You need to come out here somewhere between. They usually start it around September, sometimes as early as late August, but usually around September, and it runs through early January, very early January generally. You need to find a way to get out here and check it out because it'll knock your socks off.
Yeah, definitely. Now, obviously, if you're a fan of, like you said, Haunted Mansion, but and Nightmare Before Christmas, it's awesome to see that. But even if you're not familiar with the film or maybe not necessarily a huge fan of that film, it still provides a lot of fun going through the Haunted Mansion and seeing how it has been, slightly changed, or I shouldn't say slightly, it's very much changed to correspond with that film. But I think it still could be fun no matter whether somebody really likes it,
right,
or is familiar with that film. Even.
It's great. I love it very much, and that's why it's both of our number ones.
Yeah,
and we did get to experience it last week, and we'll be talking about that on next week's show. We'll get to that later on. But yes, we will be talking all about our journey through the Haunted Mansion holiday as well. So
exactly.
Those are our lists. Do you have any honorable mentions by any chance?
Well, I do. Well, one we touched on, which are the things with the Dias de los Muertos things that go on. So I won't explore on that anymore. They do have something new this year. It's called Pluto's Pumpkin Pursuit. It's kind of similar to where they have, the Easter egg hunt. It's in the downtown Disney district. But what's really cool is looking at, for me, I always like to see kind of how this came about and looking at how the Disney artists, they took 13 pumpkins and painted them to be hidden, but to blend in. But they're, obviously they're either looking like a character like BB-8. They just, painted a pumpkin to look like BB-8. And then others are just more like Disney Essence, like the one they have for Tiana and Donald Duck. So it's really cool to see how they did that because, using pumpkins for that could not have been easy because of the funny shapes of pumpkins. And then the nice thing with this, when you've finished your scouting around or your scavenger hunt for these pumpkins, you do get to have a pretty nice prize.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really cool.
So what about you? Did you have any honorable mentions?
No, I think they're mostly been covered. I do want to mention one thing that I'm a little disappointed that has gone away for this year, and that is the pumpkin shake that was at Flo's V8 Cafe.
Oh my God, I know.
I was really shocked that because they had it on the menu the last couple Halloweens when they've been open out there. And it's one of our favorites. We will go out of our way. Sometimes we'll go there twice a day.
We've been known to do that.
Waistline be damned. Because it is so good. And I'm a little disappointed it wasn't on the menu this year. I'm hoping that there's a secret menu that we get to Flo's and we'll be able to order it off the secret menu or whatever.
Find that out.
But that is when it is there. We love it. It's so good. It just that little pumpkin spice hint with and it's rich. It's got the graham crackers in there, and it's just really, really. It's a wonderful, wonderful shake, and I hope it comes back, or it's on a secret menu.
Right. I mean, Flo's. It is a diner, right? Flo's diner. It has great regular shakes, whether you're talking, vanilla, chocolate, whatever. But you're right. The pumpkin spice shake is to die for.
It's one of our favorites, for sure.
In
for
Halloween
sure. And we're not
mood.
those people that are just like everything pumpkin spice, like
Right.
pumpkin.
But
We're not like gaga over it, but that shake really, really good.
Right.
So, great, good job. Great
Likewise,
list.
sweetie.
Great list. Just so much Halloween time fun to be had, both at the Disneyland Resort and the Walt Disney World Resort. We'd love to hear what you enjoy out there, what you've been able to experience, and what you look forward to during the Halloween season.
Right, or what your kids like.
Yes, for sure. And what your costumes were. We saw some great costumes this last week. I'm sure we'll talk about that next week as well. But that is our look at Halloween time food and fun at the Disney parks. Just love this time of year.
Yes.
Just so much fun. Love the Halloween season. We have a big inflatable spider that didn't make it out last year because we were trying to keep things on the down low because of the pandemic and everything. But the spider that we have that is ready to go out here within the next week, and can't wait because it's always a big hit around our neighborhood.
Right. The kids love it.
Yeah. So let's move on quickly to our Disney stories of the week. I just have a couple for you this week, and I'm going to start with, if you're like us and thought it may be a while before you got your chance to see the Walt Disney World's Resort's new nighttime spectaculars, well, we have some really, really good news for you. This from the Disney Parks blog. On October 1st, 2 new nighttime spectaculars, Harmonious and Disney Enchantment, will debut to help kick off the 50th anniversary festivities during the world's most magical celebration at Walt Disney World Resort. And as a special early 50th surprise, they say we're live streaming performances of both groundbreaking shows right here on the Disney Parks blog.
Yeah. So sweet.
We're already planning it out. Our days, our nights around it, getting ready to watch it ourselves, since we won't not be able to see those. Probably, maybe we'll get to see it from afar in December, but we probably won't really get to see them till maybe February. I'm not sure.
We'll
but
see.
We'll see. Anyway, they go on to say, beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, so 6 p.m. Pacific Time, Wednesday, September 29th, they say, join us to see Harmonious at Epcot, one of the largest nighttime spectaculars ever created for a Disney park. The show, which is a key milestone in transformation of Epcot, pays tribute to the stories and songs that unite us all, featuring new technical magic that includes special pyrotechnics, moving fountains, special lighting, and media. So looking forward to Harmonious. Ever since we first heard about it, the D23 Expo 2019. Can't wait to see what Harmonious is like.
Yeah, very excited about that. And we're very excited for people who are going to be at Epcot that evening, because you get a double dose of spectacularness and you get to see it early.
Yeah, really cool. If you happen to be have a park reservation for that day,
or park hop over there.
Yeah, exactly. You'll definitely want to check that out. So moving on, they say just about 24 hours after the Harmonious event, we're live streaming the new nighttime spectacular Disney Enchantment, along with a special celebratory moment on Thursday, September 30th at 10:15 p.m. Eastern Time. Again, that's 7:15 p.m. Pacific Time from Magic Kingdom Park at the Walt Disney World Resort. They say in Disney Enchantment, you're inspired to believe in magic with captivating Disney music, enhanced lighting, and immersive projection effects that extend for the first time in forever. From Cinderella Castle down Main Street, USA, the evening extravaganza features stunning fireworks as well as an emotional original song entitled You Are the Magic by 8-time Grammy winner and former Walt Disney World cast member Philip Lawrence. The show sounds like it's going to be spectacular.
Right.
Literally. And I can't wait to check that out as well.
Yeah. I mean, we all know that, you may all have your own individual nighttime fireworks display that you prefer, but I think everybody can agree that they all at some point really touch your emotions, get those feels going, and we're looking forward to it in this one for sure.
Oh, we're double ordering boxes of tissues here for the nights that we get to watch both Harmonious and Disney Enchantment because you know me. I'm liable to be a puddle as we're going through these things, just as I am for every nighttime spectacular that I think we've ever viewed.
Right. And I think, again, if you're right there in the midst of it, it's got to be an emotional and amazing thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't think that one people are going to get to see who are gone in the park because the park closes. Yeah, the park closes, I believe, at 8:00.
Yeah, I think that'll be a limited special group event. I don't know if it'll be cast members or who are going to be inviting, sponsors, whatever. I don't know who's going to be invited to that night, but it still will be cool either way. So that we get to check it out.
Right.
So really cool stuff there. Moving on, we learned about a very exciting day for fans of all the content on Disney's streaming service that's coming fairly soon. This is really good news. This is straight from a Walt Disney Company press release. On Friday, November 12th, the Walt Disney Company will host Disney Plus Day, a global celebration that will come to life across all dimensions of the company. Subscribers to Disney Plus will be treated to new content, releases across the service's iconic brands, Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars, National Geographic, and Star in international markets, along with a special presentation on Disney Plus for fans with sneak peeks into what's to come. Additionally, the service will continue to engage new audiences around the world on Disney as Disney Plus expands into new Asia Pacific markets on November 12th as well. So lots of cool stuff coming. This is going to be, now they've kind of done a thing like last year where they did an anniversary celebration for Disney Plus, but this is the first official Disney Plus day.
That's so cool and exciting.
Yeah. So they say in honor of the second anniversary of Disney Plus, subscribers will have access to promotions and experiences across the company, Disney parks and resorts around the world. Disney Cruise Line will roll out the blue carpet for Disney Plus fans with some surprise and delight moments, including photo opportunities, character moments, and more. And shopdisney.com will have some special offers as well. But what we're really interested in is the stuff that they're going to be releasing on Disney Plus at that day. And it is a long list, and I think this is just a partial list, but it's really, really cool stuff. So they say Disney Plus Day will feature content premieres from all of the marquee brands on the service, including the streaming premiere of Marvel Studios' Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So, that's in theaters only right now. Well, on November 12th, it'll be free for you on Disney Plus. Well, free if you've paid for the subscription on Disney Plus. You know what I mean.
Right.
Also, the beloved Disney family-friendly adventure film Jungle Cruise will be available to all subscribers. So, it's premiere access right now, or you have to see it in the theaters. It'll be for free for you at that point. The new Disney Plus original movie Home Sweet Home Alone, which is a reimagining of the popular holiday franchise, will debut that day. And all new, and this is where I think we have a copyright issue that we need to, contact our lawyers about, because we've discussed this as an idea in the past on this show, but we're excited about this just the same. An all new original series of shorts from Walt Disney Animation Studios called Olaf Presents, which sees Frozen's beloved snowman retelling several classic Disney tales as only he can, will debut that day. Now, we've mentioned on this show that we'd love to see, Olaf, but also Luis from the Ant-Man franchise from Marvel, and C-3PO from Star Wars, retelling classic Disney stories. I think they've taken a portion of idea. Now, if they start dropping in Luis and C-3PO somewhere, we're going to be having a talking to Disney. But we love this idea.
Because we have those episodes out there. They were recorded long ago, far away.
But I love this idea.
Yes.
I cannot wait to see, as you know, hashtag Real Men Love Frozen and hashtag Real Men Love Olaf. I'm really, that may be the thing that I'm excited the most for on Disney Plus Day.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah. That should be fantastic. So moving on, the domestic Disney Plus streaming debut of fan favorite shorts from Walt Disney Animation Studios, including hashtag Real Men Love Frozen Fever will debut there. Oscar-winning shorts Feast and Paperman, which are great. If you haven't seen Feast and Paperman from Pixar, those are wonderful, wonderful shorts.
Yes.
And the Oscar-nominated Mickey Mouse short Get a Horse will be debuting, and some more as well, they say. An animated short film, Ciao Alberto from Pixar, featuring characters from this summer's animated hit breakout film Luca, will be debuting on that day. That'll be cool. A new short from The Simpsons that pays tribute to Disney Plus's marquee brands will be dropping as well. The first 5 episodes from season 2 of The World According to Jeff Goldblum from National Geographic, which we love the first season of The World According to Jeff Goldblum. He's
so glad he's coming back.
He's such an interesting dude.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see that as well. A special celebrating the origins and legacy of Star Wars legendary bounty hunter Boba Fett. A special celebrating the Marvel Cinematic Universe on Disney Plus with an exciting look towards the future. And Dope Sick, an original series featuring Michael Keaton, which will be released in international markets as part of the Star General Entertainment content offering, will debut that day as well. So much cool stuff going on November 12th. I'm excited for it all. What of those things? I'm going to take Olaf out of the equation. The other things, what are you most excited for?
Well, I guess The World, according to Jeff Goldblum, is spectacular. I mean, he's like you said, he's an interesting character. His style of storytelling is so entertaining, and I'm looking forward to, the quirkiness too of the items that he's talking about. It's unique.
Yeah, very much so. So yeah, that's a great stuff. I'm looking forward because unfortunately we haven't been able to get to the theaters to see Shang-Chi yet. And I've heard great things about it. I'm excited for when that gets on Disney Plus because I don't know if we'll get to the theater before that debuts. So I'm excited that we'll get that chance, and it won't be that long until that happens, because I was wondering about that when we would get the opportunity. So that's cool. So that's it for the Disney stories of the week. Oh, Michelle has a Disney story. Yes, Michelle always has the very best Disney stories.
Well, it's just a little one, and I don't think it's any surprise to anybody, but the Main Street Confectionery will reopen on September 29th at the Magic Kingdom. It's been being renovated, and obviously I think everybody was expecting it to be open in time for the 50th anniversary celebration, and Disney Parks blog did confirm that for sure it will open, and it's looking spectacular.
Very nice. Yeah, I nearly got that story, but I decided to pass it by, but I'm glad you brought it up because it is an important story for sure.
It's a yummy story.
It is a yummy story. From a yummy person.
Oh, you're sweet. But some of the treats that they're going to be releasing for the 50th look pretty spectacular.
Cool.
Too. Yeah,
can't wait. And you'll soon be able to, I don't know if they said when it opens up, you'll be able to do it. You'll be able to mobile order treats from there once the confectionery opens up. So take advantage of that as well. So that's it now for the Disney stories of the week. However, we never leave you without giving you some sort of tip that might help you on your next vacation. And we always start with Michelle because she has the best Disney stories. She has the best lists. She does the best research. But she definitely has the very best tips. So let's get to it. Here's Michelle's tip of the week.
You're so sweet. And again, the pressure. My tip is very time sensitive. It's not one that you're going to be able to take and use forever and ever. But for right now, or at least starting on October 8th, I think is something that you may want to take part in. So if you're visiting Magic Kingdom Park starting on October 8th, and with the Disney photographers, sometimes their cameras have magic in them. And
I've heard that.
Yes. And so if you go over by the Haunted Mansion, some of their cameras have a pretty sweet magic image that could appear on your photo. It has from the Haunted Mansion, the floating face, but it is Madame Pigoda. So tying in the Muppets Haunted Mansion film, along with a very iconic image from Disney's Haunted Mansion. So it looks like it's super cool and something that you'd want to probably take part in at the Magic Kingdom Park at Walt Disney World.
Yeah, I think I saw they have like hitchhiking Gonzo and Rizzo as well, like the hitchhiking
Right.
ghost. That's another one.
And we've had the hitchhiking ghost appear in some of our photos over there by Disney photographers. So cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Michelle's tips. Always the best tips.
You're sweet.
My tip goes with what we saw, and we discussed it last week, that Rise of the Resistance at the Walt Disney World Resort, only on the East Coast, was going to start doing standby only. They're pausing the virtual queue over there and doing standby only. And I was really intrigued by this.
Right.
So I started studying throughout the day ad nausea what the wait times were throughout the day. And again, this could change, but I wanted to put a tip out there from what I've experienced just in the 4 or 5 days since it started doing this. And that is that if you were going to Disney's Hollywood Studios and you want to do Rise of the Resistance, don't rope drop it. Because it seems that's what everybody does. And at least that's what they've been doing so far. Meanwhile, some of the other favorite attractions, Slinky Dog Dash, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, the Hollywood Tower of Terror, and so forth. Those queues have been less than they normally are because people have been rope dropping those as well. So my suggestion to you, at least as they stand today on September 26th, 2021, is let everybody else rope drop Rise of the Resistance. You go do Slinky Dog. You go do, the Minnie and Mickey's Runaway Railway. You go do the Tower of Terror. Take advantage of these short wait times. And then as the day has progressed, we've seen the wait time drop significantly for Rise of the Resistance. I was just checking a second ago, and we're recording this right now it is 2:30 on the East Coast as we are recording this, and it was 80 minutes. Still a long wait for Rise of the Resistance, but it's not 2.5 hours or something.
Right.
You know?
That's similar to some of the other very fan favorite attractions for sure.
And they do have a cool queue to go through while you're at Rise of the Resistance. Also, from what we've seen, from reports that we've seen online, that the wait time is actually being jacked up, being cushioned by somewhere around 15 to 20 minutes from what people are saying. So that might actually only be about an hour, which is still a long time to wait for any attraction. We're not ones to wait for a long time at most attractions, but that's not so bad. Better yet, I've seen it dropping when you start getting to 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, a couple hours before the park closes, that it's dropping to 45 and 50 minutes. So you may even want to just, have your day start at a different park. And then if you have a park hopper option, hop over, or just, be at the studios and either show up a little later or wait it out and go a little later in the day. Or you might be able to ride it a couple times, which was unheard of during virtual queue. So again, it's as the crowds are right now. It'll be interesting to see what happens after October 1st, because I think some people may be holding off, waiting for the Most Magical Celebration stuff to see what happens there. But as of right now, I got to suggest, don't rope drop Rise of the Resistance at Disney Hollywood Studios. Take it a little later in the day.
And instead rope drop something else that could be fun as well.
Yep, agreed. And that's what we've seen. We've seen, early on, a lot of these other attractions, the wait times being a little less than they would normally be for rope drop, while Rise of the Resistance is really high. And then as people get done riding Rise of the Resistance in the morning, they start shifting over and suddenly the wait times there. So are growing. So take advantage of the shorter wait times and do those then.
That's an awesome tip, honey. Good job.
We'll see. Again, in flux. Take it with a grain of salt. But that's what I've been seeing so far. So that's it for this week. Next week, as we mentioned several times during this show, we are going to be recapping our trips to the Disneyland Resort. Yes, last Sunday we visited Disneyland Park, and we're going to talk all about that, including we have some really interesting stories about a couple things that happened while we were there. And then tomorrow we are going to be out at Disney California Adventure Park. So we'll talk about some of the Halloween fun stuff, all the things we experienced there. I think we're going to be going to the Magic Key Lounge for the first time since they changed that over. So lots of fun stuff to talk about. So we will be recapping that entire couple days with you.
Yeah. As well as all the news stories, et cetera, et cetera.
Of course, as well as the usual Hyperion Adventures podcast stuff. But we appreciate that you joined us today. In the future, you can find us most everywhere you get podcasts. However, the very best place to find us is on our own website, HyperionAdventuresPodcast.com. And while you're there,
you will be so delighted to sign up for our newsletter.
Please sign up for the newsletter. You will be delighted to sign up for it. And you'll be delighted to see all the different ways you can do it on our website because they will pop up everywhere for you. But it's just another way to be involved in the Hyperion Adventures podcast world. And we appreciate everybody who's already a subscriber to the newsletter. And remember,
we never share that email address with anybody.
Yep.
It's just for us to send you the newsletter.
That's it. And we only send it. We don't, spam your folders.
Right.
We only send it once a week. You're not getting 4 or 5 emails from us every single week. So that's it. So also, please follow us on social media. You can find us on Twitter at Hyperion Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest at Hyperion Adventures Podcast. If you are on Facebook, come on in and join us on the Hyperion Adventurers Facebook group for a lot of good old positive Disney fun. Check us out on our YouTube channel. Just do a search for Hyperion Adventures Podcast. Hit subscribe and you'll know when we have a new video there. And if you ever want to contact us for any reason, please hit us up at our Gmail account, HyperionAdventuresPodcast@gmail.com.
Right. And as we mentioned earlier, even if it's just to say hello, we love that. We love getting the mail that we get each week. So
any contact that we get, just any input from our Hyperion Adventurers, we appreciate it so very much. So that's it. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Hyperion Adventures Podcast. We look forward to sharing some time with you again next week. Until that time, I'm Tom.
I'm Michelle.
And we hope that you have a magical week.